Welcome to another episode of SportsVibe. I'm Arnav Sarkar here with Jitesh Ramakrishnan. The much anticipated post Super Bowl recap edition finally here a little bit later in the week than I usually get it, but nonetheless, it was a great game. I think everyone's had some time to think about it now.
I mean, I think it's personally, I think it's a good thing we wait a couple days because we have time to fully digest things. Like, for
Yeah,
ex-
it
for
kind of
example,
seems
like
like it's in the
like
past now.
like
So,
like for
yeah.
for
hmm
example, like I have, I don't know. It seems like my hatred of the Kansas City Chiefs increases on the daily basis. So if we were to do this, like 3 seconds after the game ended,
Yeah, I
um,
can imagine.
I wouldn't exactly be in the right state of mind. But I think going back, just waiting out a couple days, you know, we've had more time to digest, as you said, have a better outlook. I mean, not that I'm a football coach, had time to review film and and see the game and stuff. So yeah, um, well, I'm still a little bit bitter about my pick, and that's who I was so close. Remember last week I said 25-19 San Francisco. I was so
Yeah, you
damn
did. I
close. You
remember
remember
that.
that?
Yeah.
That had a chance of happening. That had a chance, and I missed it.
If they got the
Oh,
touchdown, yeah, that would have been game over
yeah,
right there. Yeah.
we'll save that touchdown, the one which we'll save that one for a little bit later after the recap. But um, also, before we truly get started and all this, fun fact: the last three Super Bowls, well, no, actually, the last four Super Bowls, I got the coin toss and I got the coin toss and the deference right for the last four Super Bowls, but I've gotten my last three Super Bowl correction predictions incorrect. So starting from the Tampa Bay Chiefs game, I got the coin toss right and the deference signal and all that, but uh, that was the only game that I predicted correctly, like in terms of the winner outcome, not in terms of score. I've lost the Bengals bet, I've lost the Chiefs Eagles one, and I've lost Chiefs San Francisco round two. So I'm looking to break a streak, but
Mm,
maybe next year.
yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, coin flipping certainly an interesting decisions. But I feel like the Shanahan like the overtime coin flip or well the decision to receive was highly scrutinized, and I think based on the
Here's
way
the
the
thing,
overtime rules are set
like,
up, rightfully so. But
well,
I mean,
well, as we say, there's two sides to every coin. Again, no pun intended. But
right,
um, but thinking about it from Shanahan's perspective, I mean, let's not even factor in Andy Reid's mindset. He said he was going to go for two regardless to kill the
right,
game
yeah,
on second possession.
hmm
And we're going to talk about Andy Reid soon enough. But um, thinking about it from Kyle Shanahan's perspective, because as we've seen throughout the game, it's impossible to contain the Chiefs for 60 minutes. You can hold them. You can't suppress them. That's
right,
what we've learned with the Chiefs offense eventually. No matter how dead they look, they will
hmm
find a way to do something. Um, and so, like, thinking about it from that logic, you know, if you go down this, sorry, if you go down the field, score a touchdown, and Kansas City retaliates, and Shanahan, it seems like, wasn't even thinking about the 2 point conversion factor because, you know,
yeah,
I mean, if uh, we're able to see from the overtime drive, San Francisco's offense itself was playing a bit conservative. And if it wasn't for that holding call on the third and 13 or whatever that was, you would have been really screwed right there. Like, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But, um, but if San Fran did go for a touchdown, would they have gone for two? Because, if you make that, that puts even more pressure on Kansas City. But if you
Right.
fail on
Yeah.
that,
Oh, touchdown wins it with the extra point. Yeah.
yeah. But, anyways, going back to that, um, and I'm just branching off so much. Like, so again, your defense got extremely winded throughout the game, and once again, absolutely devastating for Dre Greenlaw.
I know. I
That
know.
that just sucked. But um, like San Fran goes down the field, scores first. Kansas City marches back, and let's just say in a hypothetical world, it's just 7-7. Um, then not Kansas City, San Francisco would have one last chance to completely ice the game. But as we know the saying, we've all heard this. We've heard this basically since we were kids. He who laughs last laughs loudest. That's exactly what the Chiefs did.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate the Chiefs, I gotta give huge props to Andy Reid. I really do. He
Mm.
no, I mean Andy Reid from 20 years ago has completely evolved as a coach because 20 years ago, this man was one of the worst clock managers we've ever seen. Like you could argue he was the main reason why Philadelphia did not win multiple Super Bowls when they went to four NFC championships in a row. You could argue Andy Reid was the main reason why they did not win multiple Super Bowls and why they only had one Super Bowl appearance out of five when he was their head coach. Now, well, ever since he went from green to red, you know, seeing the difference out of the Christmas trees, this man has been, without a doubt, I mean, even with Philadelphia, he's still a great coach. But ever since he's donned the Kansas City Red, Andy Reid is, without a doubt, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. There's no contesting that. Like I mean, is he in the realm of Belichick, Bill Walsh? It could be argued. It really could. But when we think about NFL great coaches, what are the names? What are the big four names we let's not even think about Andy Reid for a second. The big four we've always thought of: Belichick, Walsh, um, Landry, Lombardi. Andy Reid possibly is, you know, he might be number five. He might be, but we, we there are other coaches that could be argued there too. I mean, this one doesn't come up a lot. Mike Shanahan, he was a great coach when
Mm.
he's with Denver. Washington, not so much, but Denver, yes. Um, what other names come to mind for you in terms of great coaches, like
Oh,
greatest coaches of all time? And I'm
like
saying this for myself and you. Let's not try to be homers.
all right. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking like
I'd
Don.
also throw in Bud Grant, John Madden. I'd also
Definitely
consider them.
those. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking like Don Shula.
Don
We can
Shula,
go Bill Parcells.
Parcells.
Yeah. Um, the purpose of not being homers. I don't know. Any other modern
I,
coaches?
I I know you'd love to say Coughlin, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's hard not to, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's quite at that level, but probably like close behind somewhere. So in the hunt of that. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anyone else?
I mean, I'd say that rounds out our list pretty
Yeah, I think
solidly.
that's yeah, I think that's like up yeah, at the very top, and then you could probably
Yeah,
argue like the next level, but yeah, for our purposes, like I think that's a pretty solid list. But yeah, I mean Andy Reid definitely up there. I would say he's probably right outside
yeah.
that
I
top
mean,
four, top five.
Big Red has definitely made a case for being part of the Mount Rushmore of the coaches. Like, you could even argue he might have sidestepped Tom Landry. There's a big case Big Red did that, and you know, like I said, massive props to Andy Reid.
Yeah.
That man, I mean, we've seen it for years now with Kansas City, but that man has guts. And well,
Oh
if you got a big enough gut, you might as well use it. And that's what this man did. Andy Reid
yeah. Hmm.
is a masterful tactician. You know what I think really flipped the switch when Travis Kelsey came over and bumped him and
Oh
he
yeah,
started yelling in his ear.
yeah. Hmm.
But you notice, because in the short term, in the short routes and the quickies and everything, you notice who is on coverage on Travis Kelsey a lot, and we've seen that linebackers don't really tend to match well on Travis Kelsey. I mean, Kyle
Right.
Hamilton Kyle Hamilton got toasted 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Drake Greenlow was doing a pretty good job
He
of keeping
was. He
Travis Kelsey in
was.
check. I mean,
Yeah.
was it one catch for 1 yard
One
in the
catch
first
for one
half?
yard first half, and then in second half
You
he went off.
no,
So he
I
had like
mean, well,
80
you
yards.
really couldn't ask for a better performance from Drake Greenlaw. And it's
I
such a
know.
damn shame he tore his Achilles.
Yeah,
Such a damn shame.
yeah, especially in
And
the
then
way that it was freak accident too. It wasn't even
yeah,
like
and then
but either way.
Travis Kelsey just popped off. And, no,
Oh
no,
yeah.
no, no. And the worst part of it was the Niners, mismanaging of that punt return. where it went off of Luter's foot. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh man, that was well, but it was a very like sloppy game. Like there's a lot like McCaffrey fumbled, and then when the Chiefs got
Pacheco
the
fumbles.
yeah Pacheco fumbled twice actually. When he recovered, the one in the red zone after the Hardman deep ball catch, then the Niners recovered. So a lot of that was going on. A lot of defense was heavy in the beginning, and a lot of punts. We saw some great special teams playing. The punting, the
And
punt,
that's
punt coverage teams,
no,
just
that part
on
was
returners.
we saw Jekyll and Hyde of special teams. We saw some extremely sloppy special teams,
Yeah, and some really good
and
special.
very unexpected from both teams because
I
both teams
know.
are amongst the best
Yeah.
in special teams. And
Mhm.
we've seen some great the punts, the
Yeah.
punt coverage, and of course,
Mhm.
can we give a shout out to the kickers?
Oh,
You know,
yeah. I was about to go there next. I
Moody
mean,
and Butker. Let's give
yeah.
them a
Moody
shout
and
out too.
Bucker. So Moody had,
Well,
what, like a
Moody,
53, 55
well,
yard or something like that?
Moody first set the record for longest Super Bowl kick in history, 55. Then
55.
Harrison Butker said, "Nah, I'll do better than that, 57." Then Moody's
57.
like,
Yeah.
"Well, you know what? I'll be the first kicker to make 2 50-yard
250.
field goals in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl," and just booted in a 53.
Yeah.
Beauties, and they were beauties.
Remarkable. I mean, yeah,
But
elite king from both kickers,
they
but
were.
yeah.
This is a game I can't place the full blame on Shanahan, but there's some. Like,
Some.
and
Yeah, I agree. Like, there wasn't anything, like, boneheaded, I mean, even the decision to get the ball first in overtime, like,
I
I
don't.
kinda
It's.
understood but, I mean,
I
that
don't
one I
think
think
it's.
was wrong,
I
but I
don't think
don't think
it's
there was
not
anything, like,
necessarily.
boneheaded where I was like, "This is completely his fault." Like,
Yeah,
I
I
agree
don't
with
think
you.
it's
He had a great
necessarily
game.
as boneheaded as what the major talking heads in ESPN has been depicting over the past couple of days. Like, Stephen A, Shannon, Skip. Like, I don't. I mean, like, not disrespecting those guys, obviously, but it's like I don't think it's as big as a deal as the media has made it out to be. But here's the big deal: the Niners. Like, have you seen the reports from a couple days ago? Multiple of the Niners players did not know the new rules of OT and
Yeah, I
playoffs.
saw
Are
that.
you kidding me? Are
Yeah.
are you kidding me? I mean, come on.
I
This
know.
like
Yeah.
we're 21-year-olds watching this from our TV as
Mhm.
recreational fans. We knew the new rules of overtime. I mean, I can guarantee you everyone in Buffalo certainly knew the new rules in overtime in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I
Are
know, how
you
do you,
kidding?
like, not know the
No,
rules when you're in the
are you
Super
kidding me,
Bowl
San
and
Francisco? Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
just bad
And
strat.
that's
The
and that's
Chiefs
who.
knew exactly what to do. They had a whole
Well, yeah.
plan.
According to Chris Jones, they've been practicing it over the past 2 weeks. I mean, is that true? I have no idea. Only Chris Jones knows. But uh, and Bill Vinovich even says that in when they're doing the flip coin toss,
Right,
like he
they
said,
go for it.
he specifically said each team would have a chance to possess the ball,
Mhm.
and like regardless if the first team scores a touchdown. I mean,
Right.
I don't think those were the exact words, but
Yeah,
he
like,
still
something
said
like
that.
yeah.
And do you? I don't know. I don't know if I'm putting the tinfoil hat on right here, but do you find it strange that the referee who officiated the first San Francisco Kansas City Super Bowl was allowed to ref the second one, and it turned out in the same outcome of a Chiefs victory? Do you find that a little bit strange?
Mm, I guess, but one thing I will say is I don't think the refs, like, had any big calls that's, like, determined. Like, even, like, last year, there was the holding call, which I think was the right call, but it was
No,
controversial.
no,
This time, there
no,
wasn't anything like that that
I
was
feel like
swayed
you're
by
saying that because you
playoff.
hate the Eagles, but it's like if you watch the entire, if you watch, and like that's what I personally think. But if you watch that entire game, they're playing very physical defense, and then just a soft tug right there. It's like really, like
Yeah, it was
here's
like
my thing.
they didn't need to
Here's my thing
call
as
it
a ref.
because of the big
Here's
moment. Yes, I
no.
understand.
Here's
Yeah.
my thing as a fan for the refs. Either call the game physically or call the game soft for
Right, but
60 minutes and
don't
beyond.
change it up, like yeah.
Exactly. Like like for example, Bill Vinovich. Like over the past few years, he's been a ref, and I believe the first Super Bowl he worked was us against the Seahawks and Patriots.
Mhm.
And those are two of the most physical teams going into the Super Bowl. And if you saw, Bill Vinovich called a fairly physical game. Like there are many big hits taken by multiple players on both sides of those teams. Bill Vinovich didn't really call any unnecessary roughness or like excessive holding penalties or anything like that. I think Vinovich called a fairly clean game on that game. And likewise, going back 4 years ago, I think he called a fairly clean game on Kansas City, San Francisco when they're playing in Miami. This one, I can't exactly say clean, but I'd say solid. He did a solid
Yeah,
job
like, there's
officiating.
nothing, like, where, like, people thought, like, the refs, like, control the outcome of the game like
Well, no, no,
last
no,
year
no. I
previously,
I
you
don't think
know?
it was the refs that controlled the outcome. I think it was the NFL for
Well,
the
the script
for the
theory
one reason of the
different.
name we should not mention.
Alright,
No,
I'll
no,
try my
don't you
best.
dare, don't
Okay,
you
yeah.
dare.
We all know what you're talking about, so I'll just
Yes.
but the script theory is completely like, but it's how do you script, like, the punt going off someone's foot, though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's
Easy,
just way too much
easy,
in this to, like,
easy,
script
easy.
it,
I got it. Dial the phone. Ring, ring. Hey, San Francisco, screw this one up. Why
you know?
not? Because then, let's see. I will not. I'll forfeit a first round draft pick for no reason. Okay, fine. Easy.
Just I don't know, it's just like these players work too hard for this to, like,
Yeah,
just
but
I don't
anyways,
know. Anyway, point is yeah.
getting back to the game, like, and I don't think we can put complete blame on this for Brock Purdy. I don't think we can,
No,
except on those two big missed deep balls to Debo Samuel. Those were missed opportunities, and
right.
on the third and four in overtime, Brandon Ayuk was wide open in the back of the end zone when he's rolling out, but of course Chris
Um,
Jones was left unblocked. And
yeah, yeah.
honestly, there's a case to be made that Chris Jones could have been Super Bowl MVP for the Chiefs. I mean, I know I'm going to sound a bit salty for this. Like, I don't think Patrick Mahomes deserves 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Like, if you watch the first one, which he was in, I give it to Damian Williams. I think he had a far more meaningful impact on the game than Patrick Mahomes did. The second one, yeah, you can give it to Mahomes,
Yeah.
or you could probably give it to Travis Kelsey. I'd be very. I think he made a very outstanding case for Super Bowl MVP last year. This one, without a doubt, like, I think you had to go, of course, Patrick, or you know, Chris Jones, or even like what's his name? I mean, we didn't hear his name a whole lot during the Super Bowl, and this was for a good reason. L'Jarius Sneed, because he was able to blanket San
Mhm.
Francisco.
Yeah.
But there is one. There are a couple things I put blame on Shanahan, not necessarily the OT. Once again, like 4 years ago, you don't get Kittle involved in the passing game.
I know.
Kittle was basically Kittle was almost redshirted 4 years ago, and he was redshirted again, basically. And of course, he had another injury going into overtime. So San Francisco is already wounded. And the thing
Right.
that hurts about that is that San Francisco is one of the healthiest teams going into the Super Bowl, and now they had a million injuries.
Yeah.
But once again, you don't use Kittle in the passing game, which really annoys me. I mean, I get it.
Right, 2 catches for 4 yards. It's
No,
like yeah.
I get it. You have CMC. You get definitely the best running back in
I
the
feel like
league,
they
can
should
be
have used
argued.
CMC some more, like, I feel like they went away from that a little bit too, like, at times when
Yeah,
they could have
no, yeah. I
the
mean,
run game.
we said it a couple weeks ago. Like, and we've seen this countless times the past with some teams over the past few weeks. San Francisco, Baltimore, Detroit.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, when they stopped relying on the run game, which is what facilitates their offense,
yeah.
they start to like bottle up, get tight, be
Yeah,
constricted,
and for a
and
while,
get
San
conservative.
Francisco didn't have a first down. I mean, it was like, until, like, late in the 3rd quarter,
It's
and I mean,
pathetic.
because McCaffrey fumbled, like, doesn't mean you should go like, look how well that was working in the first drive. I mean, not that you use him every down, but I mean, you could, like, you could
No,
at least,
let CMC cook.
as a drive
Let
starter,
CMC
and that
cook.
he could do easily. I mean, he's the best running back in the league, and yeah, just like a very atypical way of the game. I mean, kind of going away from him. Felt like a lot of the big performers kind of had quiet games. Like, I mean, well, I guess Pacheco kind of picked up the slack in the second half, and he had some big runs for first downs. Definitely a good drive starter.
Of course, Debo's being substituted every other down because, like, he pulled his hamstring.
Yeah. So that
So,
too.
like,
Even like I said, like Kelsey when he got going in the second half, first half was very
well, like I said,
subdued.
you're not gonna shut down Kansas City. You're gonna limit.
Right.
You can't shut them down. That's
Yeah.
almost, we've seen this over now since the Patrick Mahomes era. What is it? 5 seasons. Let's see, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. 6
Right.
seasons, 23.
Right.
It's impossible to completely shut down the Chiefs offense for 60 minutes. I mean, you can make them look foolish for long stretches of time, make them look completely inept,
Mhm.
and you know,
And yeah. The
but
Niners did the
it's
best. The Niners did a great job in the first half of doing exactly that. I mean,
no,
Chiefs
they
went into
did an
halftime very
incredible
slow.
job, incredible,
And
and
yeah.
also forcing a pick. Let's not forget
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the Mahomes, yeah, I get to pick Jair Brown. I mean, yeah, exactly, forcing him to throw in the tight coverage and, Brown getting the interception, rare one from Mahomes and Dean. And yeah, I feel like the Niners definitely had their
Well,
opportunity
he's thrown an interception in every Super Bowl now, except for last year, I think.
except for last. Yeah, I think that's true. But like overall, I mean, like I think that was in this year he hadn't thrown one in quite a while. But yeah, he's definitely thrown them before in big games. But I mean, yeah, but I think the Niners did as good of a job as they possibly could in the first
No,
half, and
well, no, no, no,
on
no, no,
offense, on
no, no,
defense,
no.
I
The
mean, not
Niners
Niners
defense.
defense. Yeah, on offense, I think they had opportunities that they kind of, they fumbled away. Maybe not
Uh,
literally, but
well,
their
no,
offense
they
had
literally did.
opportunities in short
They,
fields, and
they,
they could have had a
they.
big lead. They only had a 7 point
Well,
lead, and then that
they
cost.
literally fumbled away. They literally
Well, they
fumbled away
fumbled
an
away
opportunity on
one,
the
and
first
that would,
drive.
yeah, the
But
McCaffrey fumble that
let's
could have
talk
been
about
a
this one now.
starting
Let's see.
touchdown.
Let's see if
Yeah.
you remember this. The second touchdown, the one which no, was it the second or the third where Jawan Jennings scored a touchdown? No, no, wait. Jawan threw to CMC on the first one. The
Right.
second touchdown,
Yeah.
where Jawan Jennings just like
Reached
would
over.
not give up and reached over. The Jake Moody blocked extra point.
Yeah. Yeah, we hadn't talked
That
about that. Yeah.
really changed. That,
That it could have changed the outcome of the game. I mean, if the
it
Niners
did
got
change
that
the
big
outcome.
it did. I mean, there would have been no overtime. I mean, the Niners would have been up by 4. The thing is the Chiefs could have still scored a touchdown, and they still did have 2
No,
timeouts,
no,
and
but
as
no,
is,
but
they were very, very close.
no,
But
but
we don't know that.
let's be
So,
fair about this though. Like if San Francisco did convert the extra point, and during those last 10 seconds, uh, like everything would have changed in terms of scheming for San Francisco,
yeah,
because
that too. They would have
and
also been playing
especially in
crazy.
that last 10 seconds right there, they would have been maybe dropping eight people back in coverage instead of
Yeah,
like
that's
just
true.
dropping 5 or 6.
Right, the whole, like, strategy of the game, because the Chiefs were thinking, "Yeah, let's try to get touchdown, but if we can't, field goal ties, it sends it to overtime."
No, like
Obviously,
we were
if you
able to
need
see
a touchdown, you need a
we were
touchdown,
able to
so
see during that fourth quarter drive, like until like the very last second, the Chiefs were going for the kill. It was very obvious.
yeah, they're thinking end zone. It's just they kinda ran out of time with 6 seconds or, like, it's safer to take the points and, you know yeah, throw it into the out of
Yeah.
the end zone and incomplete, there's no
Well,
time, and then you
well,
lose,
we
so
meant
yeah, mhm,
we mentioned the latter of San Francisco screwing up a third and 4 in overtime. No
right.
one's talking about the first third and
The
4
first
screw up.
yeah, mhm.
The one at the 2-minute warning. What the hell was that play? Why are you run the damn ball?
Yeah,
Like, what are
exactly, you
you
got
doing in that situation, San Francisco? Why are you forcing a pass? You gave the Chiefs you unintentionally gave the Chiefs a timeout. Like, come on. At least if you run the ball, like you
takes
dwindle the
time.
clock.
Yeah.
No, you win that drive. I mean, sure, of course, a terrible play call, but it's like even if you run and McCaffrey got stiffed, you still won that drive because you would have gotten 3 points and you would have gotten Kansas City to burn a timeout. Or if Andy Reid was thinking back to his Philadelphia days, don't call a timeout. That way you save the last two for like what a buck 20 left, and they're still up 3. Like regardless, you would have put yourself in an advantageous situation. Instead, San Francisco gifted the Chiefs a timeout unintentionally, gifted them more time and an opportunity, and have more time as an opportunity to kill off San Francisco.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, I can't completely blame
Yeah,
Kyle
I agree.
Shanahan for this game, but he deserves, I don't know, maybe a fourth to a third of the blame on the game. But I'll tell you who deserves zero blame. Well, maybe not zero, but a little bit. Steve Wilks. the man who just got canned.
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't really agree with that, but I mean, I think it was more of like the whole season. Like in the Super Bowl, at least the defense was beyond stout. Like if anything, the offense was the problem. You can't ask the defense to do more than that on Patrick Mahomes
You
and
really
Chiefs
can't.
offense. You really
I
can't.
mean, sure, you
19
could be like, well, sure,
regulation.
you could be like, well, why didn't you hold them to 0? But
Well,
let's
yeah,
be real, that is completely unrealistic.
yeah. Even this year where they had all these problems. I mean, that's very unrealistic, obviously. But
I have the theory that the Chiefs were playing like a Division II high school team. I mean,
division.
Division II college football team on purpose on the offense just to screw with everybody's head.
Eh,
I
That's the
have
thing.
that theory.
Yeah, it's like weird because if the Chiefs were up 10-0, they would probably run away with it because they'd be good with the lead. They'd blitz. Down
I
by
mean,
10,
if
you might think
think
the
about it
Niners
now,
have a chance, but
this
nope,
is now the
can't win
this
against the
is now the
Chiefs.
third Super Bowl in a row Kyle Shanahan has lost with a double-digit lead. Of
Yeah,
course, first thing, the greatest Super Bowl of all time.
yeah,
We all know,
23.
and then again, puts up a 10-point lead
Mm-hmm.
with the Niners in round one against Kansas City, and
Mm-hmm.
that too, if I recall correctly, that was Mahomes' second interception. It was 20-10, and
Mm-hmm.
there's about 9 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter,
Yeah,
if I recall correctly.
yeah, I believe that's right. I recently watched the highlights actually. So
And then, I mean, here's the thing. I don't I don't know if this sounds like really salty or not. I don't like watching highlights of teams where it's like, even though I like them, they lost the game. Like, for example, like, you know, I'm not going to rewatch like a Patriots loss.
that's
Like,
fair.
yeah, I mean, not that the Niners are my favorite team, obviously, but I was rooting for them. I don't know. I don't know if I'm exactly going to watch their Super Bowl highlights, um, but well, at least for the past 4 years. But oh well. Um, and of course, here blows another 10 point. I mean, you started off that game pretty hot, 10-zip, uh, and then Andy Reid was just like, I feel like Andy Reid in the back of his head was, just wait, just wait. Kyle Shanahan's gonna blow this at any second. Just wait. Be patient, Andy. Be patient. I feel
Yeah,
like he was just thinking that.
could be.
Now, here's the thing: if Kyle Shanahan won the Super Bowl, would he be amongst the greatest coaches we listed? I don't think so.
Probably not. Not for just one, but it's weird because like Andy Reid, like he lost those four in like NFC Championship games in Philly or whatever it was, and then or three NFC Championship games in a Super Bowl appearance, I think, and then
Well, it was the first three NFC championships he lost.
right,
Uh, let's see. Let's see if I can get the order correct. 02 is against the Rams. 03, let's see. 03 it was against Tampa Bay. 04 is against Carolina,
right,
and then 05 they go they
Super
lose
Bowl
to the
game,
Patriots.
right, the
Patriots
first one,
solidified their dynasty, and then they head back to the NFC Championship game against the Cardinals in 2009, where Larry
oh
Fitzgerald
yeah,
just went off.
right,
I still wish Larry won a ring. But
I
anyways,
missed
point
that.
digressing. Point
Mhm.
digressing. Sometimes it takes an immense amount of failure to become a success.
Yeah, I
And
was just about to
and
say because all
I
these
mean
years later with the Chiefs, he wins his first one.
I mean
Could
so far
Shanahan be on the same path? Like
so far Kyle Shanahan is doing a great job at the failure part.
eh, yeah.
Maybe next year he might turn that around. I don't know,
Maybe.
but
Hopefully, it doesn't take 15 years in a coaching change. Like, that's my only thing. But, you never know. But, yeah, I feel like he's also a lot closer. They have a much better roster. He has a good
they
team. I
should.
mean, he's much closer. He's right there, but it's the Chiefs, though. Like,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
on paper, on paper, San Francisco looks like the more talented team. And when
Yeah,
they're doing what,
I've been at it, but it's just
yeah,
hard with the Chiefs. Like the Niners had their most favorable situation, a 10-point lead of their own, which I had no faith that they were going to get based on the way they played the first two playoff games.
yeah,
But they got
and
it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Niners can pull it off. And indeed, it was kind of like a maybe because it went to overtime. It really could have gone either way. Still, the Chiefs, proved their mettle. They blitz, excellent time blitzes by Spagnuolo and overtime in the fourth quarter. Whatever they
well,
forced the Niners
Spagnola
field
just got
goal.
a contract extension, I
Yeah,
believe.
he did. I saw that.
I
And
mean,
then on offense,
at this point,
they pull
at
it
this
off.
point,
Mahomes and the guys, they pull it off and they score and they win. So I mean,
I mean,
it's just
I
like,
think
what
at
are you
this
gonna do, right?
I think at this point, Spagnuolo is going to be solely remembered as the Chiefs defensive coordinator. Everything
Not
else
the
he's done in the past is
Yeah,
probably going to be forgotten. I mean,
it
listen,
could be.
I don't
Mm.
mind him being forgotten about being
Eh,
for being the Giants defensive coordinator. I certainly don't mind that. And of course, his tenure in St. Louis, that's certainly going to be forgotten at this point.
right. Yeah.
But like I
Yeah.
said, as much as I hate Steve Spagnuolo, I've had a pretty much a one-sided hatred of him for damn near 2 decades. He's just a brilliant tactician
Oh
at
yeah.
defensive
Mhm.
coordinator. There is 100% no doubting that. I mean, now the question is there a case that he goes down as one of the greatest defensive coordinators in NFL history? I think there's a big case.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, with 4 Super Bowls and excellently timed,
Wouldn't it be? Isn't it
defensive,
5?
or
Because
five.
3 with Kansas City.
Uh, yeah, I forgot one Super Bowl as the Chiefs
No,
for some
wait.
reason.
Wait, was it? Wait, just to search it up real quick. Was he the D coordinator during the 2019 season? I know. Yeah, he had to be because they fired Bob Sutton after the 2018 season, where they lost in the AFC Championship. I think Spagnuolo took over in 2019. Can you just search it up?
Um, yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it says I believe so. No, it says four Super. Oh, he only won. It says he only won one with the Giants and three with the Chiefs. So I think he must have missed a
Wait,
2007 one. I guess. Wait,
no, that can't be right. I
no,
thought
no, the 2011 one, because he after the
yeah,
2007 one,
he coached with the Rams, I believe, in 2008 or 2009.
yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm.
Okay,
And then
but still,
2012, yeah, he was with the Saints. Yeah, so I guess he missed the 2011 one. He was there for the 2007 one, which was, and then he returned, right? And he became the head coach, right, with the Giants,
yeah,
like a little while, right? I think or something like
for a little bit, and then he
a
got
little
canned
interim,
for,
yeah. And then he went to
and
the
then
Chiefs, 2019. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I
Anyway,
think there's certainly a case to be made that he's one of the greatest defensive coordinators in NFL history.
yeah, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's just like,
Unfortunately,
yeah, and yeah, unfortunately for you, I guess, but yeah, I mean, no, those that was a huge reason why they won. I mean, those blitzes keeping the Niners out of the end zone twice in the fourth quarter and
I
overtime
mean,
gave
you could
Chiefs another
argue Brock
chance.
Purdy
And
and
then,
you could
yeah,
argue Brock Purdy nearly jeopardized that chance because he had a chance to connect with Debo Samuel a couple times,
that's
and
true.
also you remember there's one call like the 3rd and 14, the Niners decided to go for the Hail Mary touchdown with Debo instead of trying to pick up yards to be in a field goal situation. I don't know if you remember that play call. I thought that was a very stupid play call. You
Uh,
remember or no?
I I I don't. Did he complete it or did
No,
he? No, they didn't.
no.
I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't really ring a bell, but yeah, I guess it doesn't. It's not a great idea if you're going for like a Hail Mary if you don't need to. I mean, we've seen that a couple of times, but yeah, another one that comes to mind is like the going ahead by three when they could have been aggressive, but then again, like the one before overtime, they could have tried to pick up a first
No,
down there.
I mean here.
You know.
No, you remember they were really aggressive with the 4th down on a Juszczyk's call where he. Oh, speaking of which,
Oh, the
remember
one
when
that they
he?
got. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, remember when he started the Super Bowl? That Super Mario leap by Kyle Juszczyk. That was awesome.
yeah, yeah.
But
That was pretty
like
cool.
yeah, they were super aggressive
They were aggressive there. Yeah, yeah. To
when
get
Kyle
to that.
Juszczyk moved the chains on that 4th down.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was from what 25 yards out or something like that.
Right, right, right.
Why the hell aren't you applying that same mentality for a touchdown?
Yeah, that's
The
what I'm
Niners have been one of the
saying.
most aggressive teams in all of football on the offense this entire season. So it seems like Kyle Shanahan was just like he had his moments of put the pedal to the metal, and then
Right.
he had his moments of I don't know, let's not do that. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, like we saw Andy Reid, he was full of aggressive. Kyle Shanahan was just alternating between
Mhm.
aggressive, passive. Make up your mind, Kyle. Be aggressive.
Right. Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, I still thought like just watching that game. I thought when the Niners scored a field goal in overtime, I was like, okay, it's not a touchdown, but I still felt like at that point in time they had the advantage because like I was like the Chiefs maybe they tie the game and we get a third drive, or they just stop them on downs. I didn't think in the moment that the Chiefs were gonna drive all the way back and score. That ended up happening. Obviously, it's just like another indication of like no matter what, you just can't count out Mahomes in that offense. And that was gutsy. I mean, that was brilliant play calling there to have Mahomes do the honors of running instead of giving it to like Pacheco
I
or he
mean,
could have just stopped.
come on, that was wide open by like a mile. Like
Yeah, I mean,
he
he
had all
did the
that free
same
real
thing
estate.
twice during like the whatever second half, third, fourth quarter, and that was he took off. I mean, one he got a few yards, second one he took off, he got 20. So I mean, strategy was a good one. It's just maybe he didn't see it coming. I don't know. In overtime, like I thought that was smart, but yeah, they kept the drive alive. They kept going, and then they scored on the corn dog motion, the same play they used against the Eagles twice. Although they kind of brought that one back.
Wait, that's
Um,
what it's called, the corn dog
it's
motion?
called corn dog. Yeah, that's the name of the
Well,
play.
then again, Kansas City is pretty famous for its corn dogs along with barbecue, so that doesn't really
It makes
surprise me.
sense. Yeah, yeah. It's like the receiver motion, like where
Yeah,
they go the other way and then they swing
yeah. I
back.
mean,
But
the
yeah,
name sounds a bit stupid,
it
but like
does. Yeah,
apparently it works.
yeah, it does. So we'll see if they go to that again next year. But I mean, the thing I didn't know about the overtime rules is that if the clock ran out on the Chiefs, they would just start another quarter. So like there was no rush for the Chiefs to score before the
Yeah,
clock hit
yeah.
zero.
Like before Bill Vinovich said that. No, well, I don't know if he exactly said that, but it's like before the rules were at like instated like that. Um, I thought the overtime period would have just ended. That's what
Yeah,
I
me
thought.
too. Like I thought so
I mean,
too.
am I crazy for thinking that makes sense?
Yeah, like
Like
it's
it should have
what's the
ended
point
like
of like
that.
a clock and then they should just not have a clock in overtime if it's not gonna,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and then by that logic, I mean, of course, we know the rules where it's like, if San Francisco got three and then KC just went ahead and scored the touchdown, even though there are 3 seconds left,
Right.
like, apparently, if a new quarter is going to be started, why wasn't then, the extra 3 seconds at that point should have just been, I don't know, given. But I like it has to be treated like an end of half situation. Or I mean, no, not like yeah, like an end of half situation because
Right.
when we're at the 2 minute warning and the clock is dwindling down to 0-0-0, you're trying to move as fast as you can to get some points on the board.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I I think that same logic should have applied here. Like, if Kansas City failed to score on triple zeros, they should not have been given a new OT. But well, we didn't have to go there. But I think if that did happen and Kansas City scores in two OT, we were going to have a lot of blood in terms of the media
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah, you know
lots of
why? Yeah,
speculation.
yeah, because, I think the CBS executive made a joke about, the NFL said there's gonna be double overtime for the first time
That
ever in the
that
Super Bowl.
I think that was Gene Steratore.
And, no, that's the ref guy, right?
No,
Or
no, no. He was the ref. He
oh, he
works with
works for CBS, but yeah, I
yeah,
think something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, the internet would have broken. Everyone would have been
Yeah.
like, "This is scripted." Like, how they know this and that. It would
Well,
have been
I would have been
absolutely
part of
nuts.
the. I mean, I still believe it was scripted, but it's like, I think that now
This would have
that
been off
would
the charts. Yeah.
now then the rigged allegations, which
Hmm.
have already made a lot of headline over the
Yeah.
past few years, that would have been even more apparent. But
Oh yeah.
and for good reason.
Yeah.
But I think and also fact check me on this while you got your keyboard handy. The last overtime game that went to two OT was I believe the divisional round between the Panthers and the Rams back in 2004. Can you search that for me?
Last double overtime playoff
Yeah,
game. Um.
that's the one where Steve Smith scored on the first play of the game. Well, not the first play of the game. First play of two OT. He was throwing a pass and he just basically walks into the end zone. But
Um. Hmm.
two OT.
Two. Did I search? Yeah, I searched double overtime. I'm looking at that.
It should be that. I think it should be
Oh
that.
yeah, wasn't Broncos Ravens in the
Oh,
divisional
that went to 2 OT
2013?
in
Yeah,
2012.
that was two. That was two.
Oh,
Because
okay. Oh,
neither team scored
38-35.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that scoreline again. But
Okay.
that was a classic. I
But
remember watching that game
no,
when I
I
was.
remember watching the. I mean, listen, I hated both teams, but it's like that was still a great game. But
Oh yeah.
again, just to check this for me real quickly, like even if you can find video footage, if you have to go off mute for a second and I can just talk, did the 2 OT start with the kickoff? I doubt it, but can you just check
Mm,
that for me? Because
um, did it start at the kickoff? That's honestly
did
like
two
really
did 2 OT start at kickoff? Because both teams are tied at 35, but
right. Neither team scored.
I don't think it did.
Then how else like would it have started though? Like
I don't know. Maybe it would have resumed from just the Broncos
whoever
drive.
left.
I mean, not the
That's probably
Broncos, the
that's what it,
Ravens.
yeah, that's what would have
But
happened
here's
if
the thing.
it
Here's the
went
thing.
this
Look,
time. They would have just started like on the other side of the field at like
yeah, but
3
that's why
minutes.
it went to 2 OT because neither team scored. I
Right.
think that since San Francisco scored and the clock was dwindling down, if it went to 0-0 and Casey
It
didn't
should be
score,
over.
exactly.
Like I get the purpose of the rule, like each team has a possession, but there's got to be an element of urgency. Like this is football. Like I mean, that should be a factor. And yeah, the Chiefs still did end up scoring with 3 seconds in this case. So
Yeah.
like funny
So
part
it
is like even
ultimately didn't really matter. Yeah.
yeah, funny part is even under the old overtime rules, the Chiefs would have won because it's field goal, touchdown. Like none of the changes actually had an actual impact. But
Well, none of the changes had an impact because the Chiefs weren't playing passive. They were playing to just stomp at the Niners' throats and kill them.
yeah, pretty much. But I guess the point is, yeah, I think they should, if in future instances, they should make the clock a factor. If the Niners score and then the Chiefs don't, or they're trying to, and the clock runs out on them, I think that should be the game because
One
football
hundred percent.
is
One
a
hundred percent.
sport where there's a clock, there's
Roger, are you hearing
urgency.
this?
Oh, that's nice.
Roger, are you hearing this?
I hope so, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I think it's good that both teams have possession. I think that was a good rule change, but we've seen it happen over the last few years. We made a change, but I think the clock does need to be a factor. But yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, we talked about the Super Bowl in depth. Obviously, we talked about Steve Wilks firing, which I think is I don't really agree with
I don't
that.
really agree with that one either, honestly. Like, I think he was scapegoated, but
You know
it is what
what
it
I
is.
was surprised honestly, and I didn't know this until later last week because remember last week I was talking about one of my old buddies on the Patriots, Joe Tooney, like one of the best left guards and one of the most reliable and dependable. I thought he'd be healthy for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, me
Apparently not.
too. Yeah.
Like he had like a torn pec or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and once obviously, so I sounded a bit stupid for thinking Joe Tooney is going to be playing, but I didn't know in my defense. But I was surprised by even though Mahomes did get sacked a few times, I was surprised by how little pressure the front four is really like getting to on
Yeah, you're right.
Mahomes.
Yeah, with that kind of
I mean,
defensive
I
line.
think I think the style of the front four, well, really the front seven, I should say, it changed when Greenlaw got hurt. Otherwise, they would have been a lot more aggressive on Mahomes. Like I
Yeah,
don't doubt that for a second.
yeah, yeah. Because they needed more bodies to play back there, I guess. To drop back, I guess after Greenlaw, yeah, got hurt, so they
Yeah,
didn't feel as
and
comfortable just rushing.
notice how
Setting more.
Charvarius Ward is 0-2 against his old team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, didn't he play on the Chiefs like in the first one? Then he switched to
No,
the Niners.
I don't believe. Wait, no, wait. Yeah, because he was on the losing side of the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. So
Oh, that's what it
yeah,
was. Yeah.
and then he defected to Kansas City. I mean, not Kansas City, idiot,
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco. But also, someone who did beat the Chiefs before in the Super Bowl won another ring with Kansas City, Mike Edwards. He was one of the hard hitting
Hmm.
safeties with Tampa Bay.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
I think he
interesting.
signed with Kansas City last year, if I remember correctly.
Last year. Yeah, I think that could be right. Yeah,
The only reunion that was missing was D Ford, but D Ford's been out of football for 2 years, I think.
right. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I guess I feel like that covers just about everything. I mean, just yeah, impressive from the Chiefs to kind of revitalize their whole team and really really become a completely different team and still won the Super Bowl with all their offensive struggles, fixing their problems on the line, fixing their receiver problems, all the drops. Kadarius Toney and his basically just didn't even
Well,
play
ma-
him
well,
at
ma-
that point. But I mean,
well, maybe that's what the Chiefs needed. Just bench Kadarius Toney, and
yeah,
apparently your wide receiver group becomes good.
I mean, yeah, most of the rest of them fix their stuff. I mean, MVS and they, Hardman, they found success in some good places. It's like their defense was really solid this whole season. The running game, obviously Pacheco and even McKinnon, Edwards-Helaire when healthy, they were solid. In
No,
the passing game,
Pacheco was a beast. I mean,
Pacheco is an absolute beast. Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
he was doing Rutgers proud. I mean,
he is. Yeah,
of course,
wearing that shirt.
I did not want him to win the Super Bowl, because I thought a better running back deserved it. But got to give
Yeah,
props to Pacheco.
no,
I'll
he's
tell
an
you what.
absolute beast. I
No,
love him. But
but
yeah,
there's one. No, actually, let's see, 30 more seconds, or probably however long the clock runs. There is one more loser who we have not talked about. The other number 10. Though number 10, Kansas City is forgetting about these days.
oh, Tyree.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
you doing, buddy? You missed out on this.
Man, it's so funny though, like because the Chiefs could have really used someone like Tyreek Hill to solve like all their problems this year, but they found another way. So I mean,
I mean,
props to them for doing that.
I think Tyreek Hill is the biggest loser in this entire situation.
Yeah, he
And
left
as
and for Miami and the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls, but I guess yeah, like my point being like they completely, the defense, I mean, all throughout, even behind Chris Jones, the secondary was elite, the running game was elite. On the receiver side, on the offensive side, they had to fix kind of some problems with the line, and especially with the receivers, but they did, and they figured out obviously Kelsey's reliable, know that, but they figured out who was reliable. I mean, Rasheed Rice really stepped up for them. They built trust in MVS. Even some of the other guys. I mean, Hardman,
Even Justin
Justin
Watson
Watson
was
was another big
critical
target
at
for
a couple.
them. Yeah,
Even he
like
was
he was
critical in a
huge.
couple moments.
He was huge, and then so I mean, they really figured out like all these. They had all these other players that weren't there. I mean, even on the defensive side, like guys like Jared Tranquil, but I mean, they completely revitalized their team. They completely became a lot more defensive and running game oriented. But in the past game, they figured out what to do, and I think that says something that they were able to completely like change everything and still come back to the place that they were after the struggles they had all season long. Because I don't think I've seen that. I've seen great teams
No, no, we've seen
do it
this. We've seen
before.
this.
We have.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go like the Patriots or something?
Well,
Or
you brought it there, so now I'm going to.
all right.
Um, that was completely on you. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
so
Fair
yeah,
enough.
like especially during the 2018 season, where it's like, I mean, if you saw our offense from a year ago, offense was just dynamite. 2018 offense, it had its struggle moments. So
Right. I remember
there's a
that.
lot more
Yeah,
reliance on the
13 to
defense
3.
to
Right. Super Bowl.
for the
Yeah.
second half of the dynasty right there.
That's true.
Um, and but while we changed identities in the moments when it mattered most, we went back to our old ways. We went back to Brady to Jules. We went back to Brady to Gronk. We went back to being physical and running the football down our opponents' necks. Like, so
Yeah.
you can. It is possible. You can teach an old job. You can teach an old dog new tricks, or
Right.
likewise, you can teach an old dog old tricks and still get the job done.
Yeah, precisely, and I think that's really what the Chiefs did. I mean, they completely changed like their focus, but with the defense and the running game, but they did also have they knew where to go in the passing game. They figured that part out too, and of course, Mahomes is still Mahomes, Andy Reid's still Andy Reid, and they both had their big moments to really kind of push this team over the top when they needed it the most. So yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
and I guess one last lesson for all of us who've eaten a lot of crow this season, uh, myself included, because I think if I remember correctly, I picked against Kansas City in every single game in the playoffs. I mean,
yeah.
I knew Miami did not stand a chance. I was just
Yeah,
picking.
you did pick the
No,
Finns too, which
yeah,
yeah. Mm.
I know Miami didn't stand a chance. I just hated Kansas City. It's the point where it's like I was
It,
just
like,
blinded by
influenced your
stupidity. But
yeah,
at least I
I
did call
think,
a Tyreek Hill touchdown. But
right.
um, I mean, like for all the crow I've eaten this entire season, it should be noted this: Kansas City uh, will not truly be dead in terms of their football brilliance until until Mahomes is gone, Reed is gone, Kelsey's gone. That's the main trifecta right there.
Mhm. Yeah,
They've shown that they've been able to survive without Tyreek Hill. Like
right.
that itself is able to tell you like their ingenuity as a team.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, like Andy Reid probably still has a few more years in him. Travis Kelsey's what, like 33, 34, something like that. Probably still has a couple more years. As for Patty Cake, well, he's
Yeah,
probably got at
he
least a
should be
good,
here until, like, first like, his contract's like a 10 years, so he'll probably be here
yeah.
until that long, 2031 at least, so we'll see after that, but I mean, yeah, that
I
is the
mean,
real
I mean,
trifecta
as
for sure.
as much as I hate to say it, I think Kansas City still has a couple more good years in them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, will they go the way of my Patriots? I certainly hope not, but I could very well see Kansas City winning at least one more Super Bowl. I'd prefer to not be a three-peat, but I could very well see it happening within
Yeah, I'm sure
the
they'll win at
next.
least one more,
Oh yeah.
maybe
Oh
even
wait,
2.
and one more name to throw out, Chris Jones. But
Right,
um,
right.
I think within the next 3 years they're going to win at least one
At
more,
least one,
uh,
yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
will they be like my Patriots? I certainly hope not.
That is remains to be seen.
Will they be like the Jordan Bulls? I certainly hope not. Um, but you know, turn. What is it? Master Oogway said it best in Kung Fu Panda. Those who, wait, trying to remember the exact quote. Like one meets his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it. I think that's what he was telling Master Shifu. Wait, let me see if I can pull up the exact quote. Let's see, Master Oogway. One meets his. Wait, let me see if I can find the exact quote. Let's see. One. Let's see. One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it. So, um,
I think that's very apt. I mean, that's exactly kind of what happened. It seemed like things are going by the wayside, and they completely, figured it out in playoff time when they needed it the most. And they won 2 road playoff games. A lot of people didn't think they could. I thought they weren't going to get out of Baltimore, but they did beat the Niners. So
I mean,
Miami, Buffalo,
I was
Baltimore,
picking
and
against Kansas.
49ers too.
Like
So
I said, I was picking against Kansas City out of spite. But
right.
I mean, the Bills. I mean, not the Bills. The Dolphins pick in hindsight was very stupid. But
Yeah, they were
I,
not
th-
gonna,
I,
especially
th-
in that kind of weather. Like if this
yeah,
was in Miami, I'd understand it, but in freezing cold Kansas City, like yeah, that one wasn't really. The other 3, I think, were very reasonable to pick against the Chiefs the way things were. But
and
yeah,
but
anyway, but they proved us wrong anyway. So they did what they
yeah,
had to
but
do, I guess, and
I mean, maybe I'm trying to build up false hope for myself next year. But I mean, does Kansas City go back to the Super Bowl if Joe Burrow is
who,
actually healthy? I don't know.
yeah, he's like the one
Listen,
guy who could
listen,
probably.
Joe Burrow and Tom Brady are the only guys who have made Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs look like trash. Like,
Yeah, or at least beat them. But
yeah.
yeah, regardless. But
Well, I
anyway,
mean, well, Josh Allen can do it in the regular season, but he's
true.
shown like here's the quit. Like, I guess questions to just leave off until next football season. Do the Bills blow it up? Because you know you haven't gone back to the AFC Championship game since
Right.
what, the 2020 season, right?
Yeah.
Um, and time again, heartbroken by Kansas City, heartbroken by Kansas
Hmm.
City, heartbroken by our own ineptitude, and then more heartbreak. Uh,
Yeah.
Will Lamar Jackson be able to learn his lessons instead of being too passive when it matters most?
Right.
Can Cincinnati finally give Joe Burrow an offensive line so he doesn't die on the field?
Mm-hmm.
Please. Can CJ Stroud take his game to the next level?
Yeah. Heck of a
What would Anthony Richardson look like in the playoffs? Does old man Rodgers still have
yeah.
a little gas left in the tank? I don't know.
So I really want to see that work at least just to like a playoff berth or something. Like it
And
just you know
to
it
the
just
Miami
completely fell apart.
Miami Dolphins or the Dolphins, whatever name suits best. Um, will they actually show something for once? Probably no. I mean, we're just talking about AFC teams here.
Yeah.
NFC, I mean, NFC San Francisco's probably got one or two more good years left in them.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is looking like the powerhouse. Um,
Yeah. Can they
Green Bay
keep
can
that
cer-
going?
Green Bay can certainly play spoiler. Um,
How about the
Minnesota, Minnesota, I have no idea what they're gonna. Dallas Cowboys, I think we can write them. I think we can just write them off already.
yeah? What did the Eagles do after like falling apart this season? How do they look next year? That's
Oh
another
well,
one.
Sirianni might probably be getting canned next year.
Yeah, if they don't
What do
have a
we
good
make?
year,
What do we make of Tampa Bay? I mean, you've shown that you
right?
were able to go fairly deep, but
Yeah,
and Mike Evans is the greatest player in your franchise's history. And 10 years later, he's still putting up 1,000-yard seasons, certified Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Do you get him to stay? And Baker. If the answer is yes to both of them, then Tampa Bay has a chance. If the answer
hmm
is yes to one of them, it's got to be Mike Evans. And if the answer is no to both of them, then you got to blow it up.
yeah.
But
All right. Well,
so
do you want to
lots of
do like
questions to be answered.
yeah? hmm Do you want to do like Super Bowl picks for next season? Like way too early, just to end
Sure.
the episode.
Let's sound
Since the
very
last time we'll
foolish.
be talking football, for a while, I guess at least NFL. But yeah. I have not thought about this at all. But I don't know. I don't think I'd be too crazy like suggesting
I
potentially
no.
a
Here's what
rematch. You know what
I'd
I
love
mean?
to see. I'd love to see a Cats Super Bowl. Bengals Lions.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah. Back-to-back Super Bowls just don't tend to happen. But if there's, I don't know, if there's one thing that like this year taught me, it's not bet against the Chiefs. But then on the other side, like, I don't
Okay.
know,
How about
debating
this? How
between
about
the
this?
Lions and the Niners
Yeah. How
here.
about this? Let's make this easy. Let's make this easier for you. Which AFC team would you pick to represent if it's not Kansas City? And don't
I'd
pick
say
something stupid.
Baltimore. I'd say
Oh,
Baltimore.
okay. So Baltimore. Let's see. Ravens Lions. That would be
Man,
something.
that's the one everyone wanted this year. I mean, maybe it happens next year. I feel like the Ravens, they're like right there. They just need to make a few moves. You know, Lamar Jackson has to play like maybe a little bit better, and you know somehow they might need a little bit of luck. You know, against the Chiefs. But I feel like if any team could do it, they're right there. The way they're set up, they play excellent defense, a lot of weapons on offense. If a few things go right, they probably
Yeah.
win against the
Yeah.
Chiefs this
Here's a
year. So
sneaky
I think
move.
they're close.
Here's a very sneaky move. Well, maybe not so sneaky. And let's sign off with this. Mike Evans signs with the Ravens.
Ooh, man, that'd be
Or
sick.
no. Better idea. They one up the Bengals and poach T. Higgins.
Yeah, because he's gonna be like a free
That'd be
agent.
such an AFC North move.
Yeah, yeah. So in that case, I don't know. Maybe Ravens Lions or Ravens Niners. You know, maybe like we get that. Like we'll have to see how good Detroit actually is because there's gonna be a lot of changes I'm sure over there too. So yeah. Anyway, I think it's a little too early to like seriously do this because you know
Well,
he's
heck,
just
that's why we're doing this a year in advance. That way we could see how stupid or genius we
yeah.
look. It's
Yeah.
just hedging
So
our
are we
risk.
just gonna go with Ravens Lions then for
No.
simplicity's sake?
I'm going with the Cat Super Bowl. I'm going to stick with that.
All right. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, if we want to go with another AFC team besides the Chiefs, I guess I go You know what? Why not? Just for the fun of this, let's just do Ravens Lions for now. But honestly, I probably would think it would be Chiefs Niners, even though rematches never happen.
Well,
Chiefs
here's
Lions
the
would be
thing.
interesting too.
I like rematches, but it's got to be soured in time. Like
Yeah,
you
like Chiefs
remember?
Niners 4 years later,
No,
rather
no,
than like the next year.
no.
You know what I
Here,
mean?
you remember? We're all NBA fans. We got sick and tired of Warriors Cavs.
Yeah, it can't be every year, but
Well, the thing is,
maybe a
it
few
might.
years later. The
Well,
4 years works.
well, it's considerably harder to get back to the Super Bowl than it is to get back to the NBA
Yeah, you need a
Finals.
lot more than like a couple star players. You need a lot of things to go right because
Yeah,
offense, defense, special teams, luck,
and a
coaching, a
coin
lot,
toss.
and a coin toss exactly. So yeah. Anyway, those are just some suggestions, I guess, for our Super Bowl picks for next year. But yeah, next week we will dive into some NBA, NHL again, kind of how this whole thing got started up back in the
Maybe
playoffs.
even a bit of MLB too.
A little bit of MLB. I think pitchers and catchers reported spring training will get under the way soon. We'll have the NBA All Star Weekend this weekend, so certainly a lot to talk about as we get away from NFL. But in the meantime, this has been the Super Bowl this has been the Super Bowl episode, recap episode. It's been great talking football every week about pretty much every single game we've talked about, and especially the playoffs have gotten really interesting. But NFL season's over. A lot of sports to look forward to: MLB, NBA, NHL, even some March Madness. I can't wait to talk about that as that rolls in over the next month or so. But in the meantime, this is Arnav Sarkar signing off here for Jitesh Ramakrishnan, and as always, we will see you next week.